For example, the LGB Alliance, the fastest growing campaigning charity for the rights of lesbians, bisexual and gay men, has been maliciously and erroneously dubbed a hate group on a par with far-right extremists. Or what about the police arresting a number of street preachers for allegedly homophobic hate speech, when what they were actually doing was, wait for it, quoting the Bible? They'd have a field day in here. To note, religious freedom, a bedrock of secular society, is very much at risk under the auspices of hate speech. Nottingham University recently initially blocked the appointment of the Catholic chaplain for explaining his, well, Catholic views on social media, which were depicted as hate-fueled. And hate speech is often, I would say, the free speech of those views that we hate. More generally, we've seen the ratcheting up of sensationalised labels to the level of hate in order to silence opinions which are deemed beyond the pale. For example, everyday sexism, however boorish, is now routinely exaggerated and described as misogyny or hatred of women. And we promiscuously stigmatise ever-growing numbers of people as fascists, Nazis, extremists, fundamentalists. I did a study post-2016 of the various variations of Brexitean knuckle-dragging gammon. I was often included in them, and there was thousands of versions of that. And while some of my lords suggest here that we need to curtail free speech perhaps to protect marginalised groups in the name of social justice, although I worry that's a little condescending, my main note here is that many of the most powerful in society, of the least powerful in society, are excluded from debate by being labelled as beyond the pale by new power brokers, especially around identity politics, who basically describe people as not being worth debating with by using stigmatising labels such as knuckle-dragging gammon. I'm also worried when sceptics who wish to query political or scientific orthodoxies are similarly marginalised. In 2019, The Guardian updated its style guide, instructing that climate sceptics should be referred to as climate change deniers. The same rhetorical strategy was applied to those sceptical of some lockdown restrictions or asking questions about the science who've been labelled COVID deniers. This gross exploitation of the legacy of the Holocaust as a way of demeaning individuals and views as so morally reprehensible that they can be banned without qualms is, I'd say, dangerous. Of course, some people do have repellent and bigoted ideas, and some, even a few, are indeed Holocaust deniers. And I don't want to duck out of the hard argument. One of the most tricky issues if, like me, you adhere to the principle of free speech, is having to defend the indefensible. And this is made more difficult due to the fashion for falsely conflating the defence of free speech rights of bigots with endorsing those views.